traditions with them, so that we've got multiple. Because because we've got ROCOR here as well. We've got the Romanian Church, the Serbian Church, all Orthodox, valid Orthodox in my estimation, valid Orthodox churches, but under different patriarchs, which is a bit of a mess, right? But then we get into the idea of, well, who looks after the property and who gets all the asset? You know what I mean? Like the realities of the world kind of make that all a bit more difficult. But back to the point of Father Joseph's position, I don't, as I said, know too much about the true orthodoxy. I've heard of you guys before. I think we have. And this might go to your accusation that we're ecumenist, because I would say we do have a lot in common with you, but there are some fundamental differences too on the idea of what's a valid communion and what isn't. And obviously, we're not in communion with the true Orthodox, right? With regards to the calendar, though, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up specifically. Like in Antioch, we use the new calendar for feast days, but the old calendar for Pascha and for Christmas, as an example. So it's a bit of a hybrid.
Because the calendar, that's one thing that is a bit confusing. I know what you're talking. You're talking about the revised Julian calendar, which is commonly used because it retains the Paschalian. That's actually due to mass protests and violence in many countries when they tried to switch it over. Because originally, believe it or not, the new calendar was in fact the full Gregorian calendar, and they changed the back to the traditional Paschalian later.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested to look into that. I'm not familiar with the whole history. I mean, and where I was going to try and tie that into as an example, right? I've got family in Japan.
Okay.
I've been to Orthodox churches in Japan. One of the interesting, what's the right way to put it? I guess pragmatic dispensations that's made for Orthodox in Japan is that they can be cremated, right? Because in Japan, you can't bury people,
right,
in the ground, right? It's just not done there. I wouldn't go as far to say it's against the law, but
it's pretty close, because I know that's actually a dispute among Muslims.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure is why I wouldn't say it, but I know that the ROCOR has given the Japanese churches a dispensation to do it, right? So there are, I suppose, instances in recent history where the church does alter things for the sake of the realities on the ground, for want of a better way to put it.
Well, I mean, if it's illegal for Christians to be buried, I mean, there's not much you can do about that.
Well, I think it's illegal for everyone to be buried, right? It's not just Christians.
Yeah. So the point is that's kind of a difficulty in and of itself in the state. And so,
yeah, I see where you're going with that, right? Because it's certainly not illegal to celebrate feasts.
May I make a suggestion for you, Andy? You are, as I said, I highly recommend you check the map, visit a true Orthodox church, and meet I wasn't talking to you, YP, although I'll make the same recommendation for you after. But the point is, there are true Orthodox all over Australia. Get to know them and learn more about what they do and why we're here. And you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, look, I probably won't take your suggestion. I mean, I'm quite firm in my faith and where I'm at.
Can I ask you a question?
I am open to learning things for sure.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
You said that you are open to learning things, but you said that you are secure in your faith. So if you are secure in your faith, then you should be able to tell me where I am not Orthodox.
My answer to that, and as a layman, would be that if you're not in communion with the other.
Okay, that's not that's a garbage answer. Bye. Next.
Okay.
Sorry, that's a garbage answer. Who you're in communion with was never a real thing until 1960. Just a good try, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Look, as I said, I'm not a theologian. I mean, I'm a layman in the church, and this is my understanding of how we recognize other Orthodox, right? So we hold common beliefs.
That's a brand new way of doing it. That's completely innovative.
All right. Well, I'm certainly prepared to look into that.
That's why I said go visit a true Orthodox church.
Yeah, and again, I'm not against seeing other people, talking to other people, and hearing their views at all. Like, there's no fear that, oh no, they're going to convert me. these kinds of things.
Exactly.
But
Cool.
so far, yeah, I'm not convinced, but it's interesting to see that point of view is out there. It's a modern schism, though, right?
Well, it started in 1917, 1920, depending on where you are.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, there's always going to be schisms and heresies come up within the church, and not saying personally that you're a bad person or anything, Father. I do not agree with you theologically based on what I've the little understanding of what you said so far.
The good news is this. The good news is this, Andy. I don't live in Australia, and neither do all those true Orthodox in Australia. I'm not asking anyone to agree with me. Just visit, do the come and see, find out, and meet other. You'll see they probably agree with you more than your previous parish, because we're just unapologetic Orthodox. Now, people find me personally annoying, and that is okay, because I am not all of true Orthodoxy. I'm one guy of millions.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Well, nice having a brief chat with you anyway. I'll let YP continue the conversation, but God bless to everyone on the panel and all the listeners. And
God bless you.
Yeah, we'll see
Thanks
you again.
for coming, Andy.
See
you later, man.
Have a good one.
All
hey
right.
there.
Hey, thanks for
hey, Father Boniface. Yay.
Benedici Day.
It's
Benedici Day.
Good to meet you, John.
Yes, you too, YP. I wanted to say, I just saw you in the chat there. I'm glad you decided to come up. I've been very interested in your posts on X. It's been a breath of fresh air in the current discourse, and so I wanted to just make that clear. I appreciate that a lot, and I was actually considering having you on a stream. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we got to meet, and hopefully we can make something work out where you and I can chat one-on-one.
Yeah.
But anyway, the floor is yours, man.
All right. Well, first of all, I would like to say that if anybody out there is watching and they're maybe inquiring into Orthodoxy, I will tell you, do not go to a true Orthodox church.
Yeah, he's been saying that on Twitter a lot.
Go to a canonical Orthodox church, not hard to find. And there's a website. Maybe I'll bring it up a little later. But so that's my first point. I'm YP, Young Penitent, at Young Penitent on X, and I got a YouTube channel too. And Father Joseph has actually a soft spot in my heart because he reposted one of my videos when I had a few hundred subscribers.
I actually have known YP for a while, and I think he's a nice guy. I think he's wrong, but I think he's a great guy otherwise, and he's always had a great beard. And so that's always good. One thing I like about him is that he's always had very traditional opinions, even though he is in World Orthodox. I know he's not a fan of ours. I don't know the history there. I think he was in ROCOR around the time that the split happened in 2007. I get it. That has like a lot of emotional things. I actually sidestepped a lot of that. So that's all I know about your history. But you have referred to what's his name? I think I mentioned him earlier on Vashon Island.
Yeah, that's actually why I decided I wanted to.
Yeah, because you call him Grandpa or something, right?
Yeah, Abbot Tryphon, and
Why does he up the Roman Catholics all the time?
You're wrong on that, though. I heard you. You're just
video.
Talking.
I can pull up video. He doesn't.
A video. Listen. I have been following Abbot Tryphon for 20 years. Okay. I read his blog every day. I watch his videos. I go and visit his monastery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have never read him anything he wrote saying the Pope is a bishop. I never said that. He says that the Catholics and Orthodox are both part of the church. I've never heard him say that. So you just said earlier that he's saying it every time he opens his mouth. I think that's a false statement. Okay, let me put it to you. Every time he talks about the church, I can't even say every time because I don't know how many times he's talked about the church. I will say that at least recorded 5 times on video, which is a substantial number of times, he has said Roman Catholics and Orthodox are one church. There's people in the chat who are pointing it out. I could ask him. I will. Actually, in fact, I will. But I would dispute that. But I challenge you to do it and ask what his real position is, and you may be disappointed.
But let me ask you a question. If he does say they are the one church, what will you do about it?
What will I do about it? Well, I can have a disagreement with him.
See, well, you have a disagreement with me, and that's fine and civil. But the point is, when we're talking about the boundaries of the church, that's kind of important, don't you think?
What canons would Abbott bring up that allows him to say what he's saying? If he's so canonical, what are those canons that he can be ecumenical?
Well, you have to ask him.
I thought that you would know, since you said Father Joseph is not canonical. I thought that you know yourself something about a few canons. So I'm kind of like shocked by you not knowing.
No, I don't know anything about canons. I've never read the
majority. You should read it. It's great.
Maybe I will. I don't know. I have trouble reading these days. My mind is turned to mush.
Why is that?
Oh, there are several reasons.
I hope my YouTube channel's not one of them.
No.
Well, your mind is not you say it's mushy, but it's straight enough to call Father Joseph non-canonical.
That's okay.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think that if I was in his position, I would call me non-canonical too. So I totally get that.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I will admit, I have not given you guys a fair shake in terms of listening to what you have to say, because I don't care really.
Well, that's fair. That's fair, UYP. I can't argue with that.
He's honest.
So anyhow, I wanted to dispute that, and Abbott Trifon is a wonderful man, and he's a spiritual man. He is speaking the truth, and I'll try to ask nicely. Please let me put it this way. What is the word? Try to be gracious. Try to be charitable towards him.
I'm gonna say something, and I hope that you're not offended. But I'm gonna try to be as cool and calm as possible. There was a period where I wasn't really active on Twitter, and I was mostly on Gap. And one of the people that I followed was Abbott Trifon, which I guess he had just basically an auto post thing going on, so on and so forth. And I read a lot of his posts, and because he talked about nice things and stuff like that, I was like, maybe, just maybe, I'm being too rude. And to the point where I was Christmas, Orthodox Christmas, maybe it was when I didn't have a bishop a few years ago, and there was 2 years I didn't have a bishop, and I was like, maybe I'll just take the family over to the World Orthodox Church. And I'm not kidding. I kid you not. On my Gab, there was an article by Abbott Trifon written for Christmas, and the entire article was about why the old calendarists are evil. And I was so horrified. I was so horrified by this. And I was like, Abbott Trifon saved my life.
This is why you're going after him. This is why.
No. He saved my life, because if it wasn't for him being that direct, I wouldn't have ever realized that was kind of his real feelings. He's a soft guy, but he can be pretty nasty.
Do you watch him? Do you watch his videos now? Because
not regularly. I don't watch his stuff anymore.
Well, then how do you know that he's got 5 videos talking about the
Pope?
Pope?
I've seen excerpts.
Because people send them to you. Because this is what all you.
No, nobody sent them to me.
You guys find who?
Nobody sent them to me.
Or I was just find them.
Because I would see his channel sometimes, and I would flip through it occasionally.
All right. But I'm just saying, you guys are always trading these secrets. Like, this guy's that did this guy did that. It's on
public YouTubes.
You guys are, huh?
They're public.
You guys. I'm saying
we're not trading anything in secret.
I see this stuff on you guys will put it on a website. I'm not even sure. You guys have so many. You have schism upon schism. So people know watching. What
do you mean schism upon schism?
You got so many groups: the True Orthodox, the Genuine Orthodox, the RoCore A, the RoCore B, all these different. Wait,
let me ask you a question. Since I don't even
know what your synod is, what your group is.
Well, I'm in the Autonomous Metropolia, but that's because it's for the old Milan. The old Milan synod is basically we're what's left of the old Milan synod. But here's the thing: you mentioned RoCore A and RoCore V. Now you're a member of the RoCore under the Moscow Patriarchate, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, and you've been for how long? Like, what would you say? Like 20 something years or
20 years.
Yeah. So around the same time as me. So a little bit less than me. So you remember in 2000, I mean, were you there with the whole thing with Metropolitan Vitale, like in 2001?
Well, no, I wasn't.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, and this is going to sound awful, but the split when that occurred over the Moscow Patriarchate, over the Moscow Patriarchate's 2000 statement, and what happened to Metropolitan Vitale, the man was literally physically dragged to a mental hospital by the ROCOR's bishops at the time, where he had to prove to Canadian authorities that he was actually sane, and he finally did, and then he got to stay home in Mansonville because the synod was trying to physically drag him back. And that's not the only time he's done that, that the synod has done that. But the whole point I'm trying to make is those clergy that formed around him and became the ROCOR V did that because of what was happening at the time. And the ROCOR A is, as you know, the people who didn't want to go with the Union in 2007. And so they went under Metropolitan Encofanglo, the last man standing. How is it their fault that they have two organizations when they're not the ones who did anything wrong? They were just trying to protect their orthodoxy. I'm not a member of either one, and I can see that. I would think you would too, as a member of ROCOR.
Well, there has been a lot of intrigue in the history of the church, hasn't there?
There has. Unfortunately, ROCOR has seen a great amount of it in the 20th century.
Could I ask you both a question? Obviously, I would assume that if someone were converting, or let's say from Islam to Christianity, you would prefer them to be Orthodox as opposed to Protestant. But would you consider the other a part of the one true church or not? I guess I'm just wondering how strongly you divide that line. Obviously, if they were to say, I'm going to go true Orthodox or Protestant, YP, you would probably say true Orthodox. Given that hypothetical, I would assume you would go that route, but you would probably also then say still that true Orthodoxy is not the one true church. So that's just the question I want to pose to both of you. How hard do you draw that line? And are you exclusivistic within the sect of, Holy Orthodoxy, as you would say, YP, and true Orthodoxy, as you would say?
I never would have. There was a time when I was looking for churches, and I was searching before I became a Christian, and I visited this church and I visited that church. And looking back, I don't think any of them had any appeal that I would have stuck with and been, I would have been drawn to. There was no appeal to me except the true faith, the true church. And so I would just say, I wouldn't join any of them unless it was Orthodoxy.
So Holy Orthodoxy is it, in your opinion?
Or nothing.
Okay. What about you, Father Joseph?
Just to understand the question, what you're asking me is, would I prefer if someone went to World Orthodoxy or if they went to Protestantism?
Yes.
I mean, I would say that it depends on how they go. And what I mean by that is, like at the basic parish level, like if they don't know any better and there's not much, I mean, most likely prayer-wise, I might say it's better to go with World Orthodoxy. However, there's also the whole elderism and there's the whole hierarchicalism, and frankly, some of it smells a lot like papism. And I was a former papist, so I would never recommend that. I remember when I was, and this affected me greatly when I was a Roman Catholic before my conversion. I'd met a couple in college, and it was a Greek Orthodox girl dating a Protestant guy. And when I asked about this as a Roman Catholic, trying to understand what they thought about the ecumenical movement, as I, at the time, being Roman Catholic, was ecumenical. I believed that all the churches should unite. And what was interesting was the Greek girlfriend actually said to the effect of, she said, I don't think I want that to happen because then Roman Orthodoxy would unite against Protestantism. And I thought that was an interesting point, but it never really left my head, in the sense that I realized that really papists gonna papist. And when I say that, I mean it's always thinking in terms of, if I can just get as many people under my authority, then that counts as the church. And so ecumenism, especially from a papal standpoint, is oftentimes just trying to collect as many people as possible under the Pope. And so I believe that what has been happening in world Orthodoxy has been that consolidation. We have seen it at the patriarchal level with the EP. Doctrinally, they've literally been changing their doctrine to match that of the papacy. And in the Moscow Patriarchate, in terms of territorially, because they've been physically going in and taking over areas. And that's what's happening in Africa, for example.
Okay.
Hey, John, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Can you see how the one world church is being formed? Do you see what Father Joseph was saying about Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism? Do you see the same kind of movements in Protestantism?
You mean as far as ecumenism and being ecumenical?
Consolidation,
No, not in
You
that
don't?
regard. I think Protestants in general are more ecumenical than you guys are. Lutherans, Baptists, Methodists, Anglicans. Well, maybe not Anglicans, but Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist. They all, for the most part, are very ecumenical.
You do have some conservative groups within them.
Oh, sure.
Well, what's your opinion of the World Council of Churches?
What do you mean by that?
The World
what do you
Council
know?
of Churches.
Do you
Are you
know about the
familiar with
World
that?
Council of Churches?
No, apparently not.
The World Council of Churches is an organization that kind of came from other constituent organizations in the early part of the 20th century. They claim to kind of represent a sort of supra-church movement, which includes delegations.
Are they even active?
Yes, they are.
I never hear anything about it. It's never in the news. Do they have any power? Does anybody listen to them?
Who do they represent, Father Joseph? Who do they
They
represent?
claim to represent somewhere around 70% of the Christian world.
Across
not including-
Protestant and
Right.
Catholic and Orthodox.
Well, the Catholics, while they're not members of the WC, have an official delegation in the WCC because they cannot proportionally
If John has
represent, or
never
they
even
would.
heard of them. How powerful are they? They must be just ignored. He would have heard of them if they were this big group that was.
Well, it's subtle. They're an NGO. I don't know necessarily that they would want to be well known, etc. I mean, they work under the auspices of groups like the UN. If they're a non-governmental organization, they are of still some sort of importance, even if they're not that visible.
I think they were. Weren't they more powerful back in the 70s? I mean, Father.
Well, sure. I'm not denying that.
Back then, it was a little more of a. They were thinking they were going to do something with it, but I just.
Well, here's the problem: is that even though the globalist organizations may be changing, the globalist aims are the same. So, whereas you might have had the ecumenical patriarchate represented at the World Council of Churches, and they still are, by the way, represented, on the main stage, and it's not involved that much. Then at the World Economic Forum, you see that the EP is there also. So the globalism changes, but the structures underneath, they may be different, but the goal is always the same.
Yeah. Okay. Maximus is here. He's true Orthodox. He wanted to ask a question specifically to
Right.
YP.
We got to get off here too soon before people start thinking.
So much has happened.
What's that?
I said so much has happened in this conversation.
Yeah. Do you have one? If you could kind of consolidate to one specific question before YP has to go, that'd be great.
Well, okay. Well, about the World Council of Churches quickly. The man who's probably going to be the next ecumenical patriarchate is currently the head of the permanent delegation to the World Council of Churches of the ecumenical patriarchate. So they consider it to be extremely important. And the last delegate to the World Council of Churches from the ecumenical patriarchate was also the number 2, which was John Zazoulis, who was the person who they used to draft all the agreed statements between Rome and the East. So the EP still thinks very highly of the world. My question to YP was, I see that, and again, I know that people have been asking questions about the opinions of other people. So unfortunately, I'm going to do the same thing, which is I see that you or associate and retweet this guy. I think his name is Nathaniel a lot, and he seems to have an interesting position where he basically says, "Don't go to the old calendar church," but he says, "Don't go to the new calendar church either." He's kind of like he has his own. He's like,
What?
walled off or something. Like,
I've never seen him say that.
oh, you haven't seen his videos on that?
I'd have to look into that.
Oh, okay.
From the best that I could understand, if you could send me the video, because from what I understand, first of all, I've retweeted him once.
Oh, okay.
But I think I thought he was Orthodox.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe he's changed his opinions. So again, he's not here, but it seemed like he was saying you should go to these sort of people who don't like the walled off people, that they don't commemorate anyone. They don't,
okay.
that was the yeah. But if you don't, if you don't know, you don't know. So yeah, that was my only question.
I saw something about him, being associated with non-commemorators, but he's a layman.
Mm-hmm.
So to be considered a non-commemorator, you actually have to be a clergy. Mm-hmm. A layman can't be a non-commemorator. So you can't really consider Nathaniel a non-commemorator.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, non-commemorators, they're from, I guess, I mean, like I said, I don't read canons. I try to do basic spiritual practice, Jesus prayer, go to church, say my prayers. I'm not reading canons. It's not really my job. But from what I've been told, it is a canonical position to hold that to cease commemorating, but you'd have to be you'd have to have true judgment in that case. Like if you're going to just make a decision about someone else, you're judging someone else at that point.
100%, yeah.
So you'd have to be pretty sure of I'd hope you were. I'd hope you had some sort of revelation from God or something like that. Or spiritual vision to know what is true in those senses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But I think in a way, St. Philaret made that call, and I think God has, affirmed his sanctity through his incorruption. But I guess that's
all right.
That was my question. But okay,
cool. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you, Maximus.
So thanks for having me on, man. I'm gonna check out. Peace.
All right, thanks, man. Talk to you soon. Peace. All right, I want to bring
John,
up.
Did you get my question? Did you? I don't remember your answer to it about the World Council.
I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of the group that you were talking about, and so I guess I didn't have an answer because I was not even aware of this this group of leaders. They were formed in like 1948. Father Joseph, there was there's a League of Nations, but there's the churches were trying to get together. But in 1948, they constituted themselves as the world was coalescing into one new world order. And the churches got together, Protestant and Rome, basically, and the Orthodox now are all kind of coming together. And the point that I'm trying to do is kind of create connections to see that the Orthodox Church and the Roman Church are getting together and familiarizing their doctrines with one another, but it's also with the Protestants, and that it is a thick issue in the Protestant world. I mean, I was ordained in the Bible Presbyterian Church with Carl McIntyre. Carl McIntyre was an ardent anti-communist and against the World Council churches big time, because being a Presbyterian, he was against the ecumenical movement per se, which is kind of interesting, but it is what it was. And so anyway, but this spirit has infected the world of Protestantism also, and I highly suggest you look into the history of the World Council of Churches. It is a huge body. So okay. I'm just saying that these same forces are at work in the Protestant world also. Enough said. Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. I will look into that. I have not heard of it, but I will definitely look into that. Hey, Neuro Jack, I wanted to bring you in here. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So, did you have any questions for either of the fathers here with us? YP left. I was hoping to bring you up while he was on, but he said he had to duck out early, so I apologize for that. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, I'd love to have you ask.
Yeah, thank you. And God bless everybody. I appreciate everybody being here. You know, I've talked to Sweden and Boniface and some people in the chat as well. I'm sure that my presence here will be greatly lamented, but I do come in relative peace because I have a very ecumenical statement for people. And I like to start by reading Paul. This is the ESV version of the New Testament. And this quote says from Paul, "But I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh."
Uh-oh. Jack, we lost you. Jack, you there? He's on mute. He's out.
Fell off.
He fell off. Fist of Nicaea. This guy is an EO.
Oh, this guy has been mad. If that's who I think it is. He's been on the Twitter or on the YouTube. Well, no, mostly the Twitter, I think.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man.
Okay.
Go for it. You have something to say to these guys?
Yeah, John, thanks for opening up the space. Specifically in Mr. Sweden. And my question was, why are you consistently posting stuff against Eastern Orthodox to the
That's
point?
a stupid question. I'm
where
going to
the
cut you
other-
off right here. Hold on. Once again,
Well, let me finish.
You
Yeah, I
know,
haven't
you
even
know,
finished the
you
question.
know,
It's ridiculous.
you know. No, and I'm going to stop because I think it's a dishonest line of questioning. You know very well that I feel, and that my belief is that we are the Eastern Orthodox. You want to shove.
John, I
into
lost my
face-
audio. I'm going to plug in and come back in.
want-
Okay, plug
You
out.
want to demand I use your terminology, and I refuse to. So let's start there.
I'll give you an example. So the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but some Protestant put up something attacking two of our saints. Another
Who
Eastern
are they?
Orthodox
Who are they?
went to defend.
wait,
Are you even
who
going
are
to let
they?
me ask the question?
Can I ask who they are?
What's that?
Because you say two of our saints. You mean your saints, or you mean the church's saints?
The Church's saints.
No, that's who are they?
That's not the point.
Paisios and Porphyrios. Am I right?
No, I don't think that was correct.
Okay, then. Oh, I was right on one. Maybe not the other.
So two of the saints.
We
There's
don't.
two.
When were they
and
made?
They were. Let me get out the question. So this person was defending two of our saints, and
Poisoned
you
question.
started attacking them.
Poisoned question. If I
over
don't
this.
believe they're saints, I'm gonna attack.
No, that wasn't what
Yeah.
you said.
Just
That wasn't what
name
you
them.
said at all.
Name
You
them.
said I didn't think
Name
he was
them.
defending the saints.
Name,
and I
because
said,
if
of
I don't
course he
believe they're
was.
saints, I don't think
You're
he was
just
defending
gonna
the
talk
saints.
over me.
Because you're not purposely not saying things to misrepresent. Who were they?
I specifically, you know who they are because you commented on it. What are you talking about? That's not even the question at hand. The question at hand is why you chose to attack that person, not because you don't believe they're saints, but because you thought, oh well, this guy isn't defending them when he clearly was.
Wait
So
a
in
second.
every
Okay,
single
hold
instance
on.
I see you, you're
Okay.
attacking orthodoxy.
Okay, wait
why,
a second.
Why do you
Hold on.
think
I'm
that-
not attacking orthodoxy. I remember what you're talking about now. In that specific scenario, you are talking about Saint Sergius and Bacchus, who are being misrepresented
Correct.
as homosexuals.
Correct.
The guy responded with the effect of something that I interpreted when I read it as, well, so what if they were, you shouldn't be attacking saints anyway. The proper answer is they were not homosexuals, not you shouldn't be attacking them if they were homosexuals, because that's weird.
That's not what he said.
That
That's
is
not.
totally.
That's
we can
not
pull
the
it up.
defense that he made.
You want to pull if you want to pull up your argument on Twitter, we can, but it's a silly
pull,
argument.
pull it up
And
because that's not the.
I
argument that he made.
conceded that might have been not my understanding. I might have misunderstood that. That's not a great example of that.
But it's constant. It's
Constant.
constant, sir. And why do you
How
think?
long have you
why-
been studying
you-
my ex since you're saying it's constant?
I mean, nearly every post that I've seen, there's
How
maybe
many
been
is
one or
that?
two that was like neutral.
How many is that? I've never seen your name until like a week ago
What does that matter?
or 3 days ago. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how long you've been studying me. I don't know if you just decided to jump on and be a troll now because of this stream. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've actually seen your name ever until I was invited to this stream, which tells me that you could be somebody that I've spoken to many times over the years with a fake name, or you could be somebody completely new trying to misrepresent what I'm saying, or you could just be a troll. There's a lot of choices, but the point is, when you present yourself as saying that I always speak this way, when you're suddenly a mysterious new authority that popped up on me, then I have every right to ask what your motivation is.
Well, I could still draw from my anecdotal experience.
You can, but nobody knows what that is. You're a nobody with no history, and
who cares?
You have no
You're not even letting me give the question out. You're
because
so
you're saying I'm going by my own
anecdotal
anecdotal history. That it could be made up, man. You're anonymous.
What's made up? What are you talking about?
You're saying your own anecdotal history, but you are an anonymous person who just showed up 3 days ago. That means nothing to them.
Who cares? Anybody can go to your X and look at all your comments.
They can.
This isn't mysterious. This
I
isn't
know.
top secret. And they're going to
know.
see exactly what I'm saying right now.
No, they're
which
not.
Is, in almost every instance, you're attacking what you call world orthodoxy.
Making accusations,
but my
and
real
that's
question
not true.
is, the heart of my question is, why are you going on the show thinking that John is your buddy? Because John is, and I'm not insulting you, John. You're doing the smart move. He's putting you on here to make orthodoxy at large look bad.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even have to do anything because you're doing it yourself.
Here's the funny part.
You just went on there and said if
Fist.
somebody was between
Fist.
Protestantism and Orthodoxy,
I'm gonna
tell them to go to Protestantism.
I didn't actually say that, but more importantly,
that's exactly what you said.
No, it's not. It's not. But
you said, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe it just depends on."
Well, no offense. The impression people like you give me of what world orthodoxy is right now tell me I would rather people go to Protestantism than go to your crypto-papist religion. So, since we are now talking here about what we're doing and what John's role is, let us say, for example, that you are correct, and his purpose is to make world orthodoxy look bad. Surprise, Fist! That's also my purpose because I believe you guys are descended from evil murder people. So, of course, if I want to expose evil murder people pretending to be the church, I'm going to do that. Because that is the service of truth. Does that make sense to you?
No, that's a terrible argument.
Okay, what are you defending?
Let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick. Let me steel man both of you guys really quick, and that way the audience can know what's going on. So, Fist, your position. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your position is that Father Joseph spends too much time, or maybe he should spend no time, in criticizing what you would call, Fist, Holy Orthodoxy, and he would call World Orthodoxy, because you believe that is creating visibility for the fracture within Orthodoxy, and it's driving a wedge into Orthodoxy, deterring people from Orthodoxy. Is that kind of a steel man of your position?
Yeah, John, pretty much. And I would add, him attacking Orthodoxy at large is actually hurting his own position, whether he wants to admit it or not. But yeah, John, that's pretty consistent.
So, Father Joseph, your position is that World Orthodoxy is a heretical group and they are not in the one true church. And so, on your view, they're the same as Catholic, Protestant, or anyone else.
Well, I'd say they're worse because they haven't been because the Catholics and Protestants haven't been actively persecuting us for 100 years and trying to cover up our existence while trying to smother us and suffocate us.
So this is more personal for you because of how closely you and the history of true Orthodoxy and World Orthodoxy is. And so then I see, okay, so Fist of Nicaea, you see that as being counterproductive because you see Father Joseph as singling you guys out rather than attacking me and Catholicism. He's focusing on you because it's a personal, more, well, I would say internal battle. You guys obviously don't see it that way. But okay, I make sense of the argument now.
He's the spiritual son of people who killed our saints.
So from here then, with both sides kind of steel-manned, Fist of Nicaea, go ahead and present your case as to why that's a bad idea for him, because he does believe that you are heretical. Why is it bad for him to go against you?
Yeah, and I understand his position, but I think what he fails to understand is Orthodoxy has had a tremendous boom. I don't think anybody would argue that. And if anything, it's probably helping him because more eyes on Orthodoxy will bring more people as a byproduct to true Orthodoxy, I believe. So
Yeah,
him
but that's no
attacking
thanks
Orthodoxy,
to you guys. No
all
thanks
that,
to you guys. You guys did not even want me on this program. So don't even try that. Don't even try to say, oh, that will help true Orthodoxy because they'll find him. No thanks to you. When I was on the Crucible debate, no less than David Erhan wrote the hosts of the Crucible and said, don't let him on. So do not give me this garbage about how it's trickling down to the true Orthodox. It's coming because people are finding out about us because you're lying about us, and I'm going on other channels and exposing it, like this one.
okay.
And that's why you're mad.
Anyways, well, I'm not mad at all.
Oh, of course you are.
No.
Even your name is mad. It's all made up. Come on, man.
My name is mad? What are you talking about?
Your name, Fist of Nicaea, like, oh, I'm St. Nicholas slapping Arius. It's all made up, dude. You made that up a week ago or less.
I'm not St. Nicholas slapping. I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's okay, buddy.
Fist,
anyways,
go ahead. Finish your point.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, do you think that streams like this are hurting Holy Orthodoxy, or are they boosting true Orthodoxy? Which one, or both? But what I'm asking is, which one is the most frustrating to you?
I think they're hurting both. I think if you had true Orthodoxy coming out talking about their position, I don't think there would be a big deal with that. But that's not what he's doing. He's coming out and constantly attacking Holy Orthodoxy. And
I'm not.
It's not
Holy
doing
Orthodoxy.
anything good for him.
I'm
nor
not.
is it good for us,
I'm not
because
attacking
all the
Holy
detractors.
Orthodoxy.
Well,
Can you just let me speak, sir? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, no. If you're going to say I attack Holy Orthodoxy, I'm a priest of Holy Orthodoxy Anonymous. So don't tell me what I'm attacking.
There's a category difference there. Obviously, what Fist means by Holy Orthodoxy to you, Father, would be world Orthodoxy.
Ecumenist. Yes, I know.
So go ahead.
Could I interject here? Something that John, the Apostle John, in his third epistle says, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. And so we have a standard of truth, and we're upholding it. The true Orthodox are upholding it. And I'm sorry that other people envy that and, malign it and are embarrassed by it. But that's the way it is. Truth is beautiful, it's wonderful, and we're presenting it. And we're calling people to turn to it and have the life of Christ and avoid judgment.
If that's your position, sir, and that's what you're asserting, that's fine. But that's not what this gentleman is doing. He's constantly attacking Orthodoxy. And my point is that it's actually hurting him, because when he attacks Orthodoxy at large and there's this big dust up, it allows detractors to see, like, oh, look, Orthodoxy, they're obviously not. Which Orthodox church? I've already seen it in the comments. And he doesn't understand.
And that's why when people say which Orthodox church, I say go to our map.
The truth is honorable and will shine forward, which is what we are doing with Father Joseph and myself. The truth stands on it for itself. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And you guys are false and leading souls astray. And so therefore, that's the way truth works. It exposes darkness.
Yeah, well, I don't think constantly slandering people is how you get to truth, sir.
Who are we slandering?
What's that?
Who are we slandering?
Well, just the other day you said that I would, if I could, have you all thrown in jail, which is completely erroneous.
I said that people have said that to us. Which people have said
No. I said, why would you think that I'm going to throw you in jail?
Because other people have said that to us.
You said, yes, you would.
Okay,
I said,
great.
I wouldn't throw people in jail. That's ridiculous.
I don't know that and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I believe you. I think that if you had state authority, you would probably throw us in jail.
Why would I throw you in jail?
Because of the fact that is what your leaders suggest and have suggested for decades.
No, I wouldn't throw anybody in jail. One of our most
Why are you under bishops who would throw people in jail?
Gabriel of Georgia was tortured by communists, beaten brutally. Why do you think that I would do the same thing and throw other people in jail over that?
Well,
again,
you do realize that other people like Elder Gabriel who didn't listen to Patriarch Leah did get thrown in jail? Like, I don't know if you were aware of that. He was
Certainly,
not the
certainly,
only one of the.
there were bad things that happened, and that's the course
Okay,
of
so
history.
wait. Okay, here's the thing. Elder Gabriel was anti-Stalinist and was anti-ecumenist. He accepted a house from Patriarch Elia. And frankly, that might have been the only good thing Patriarch Elia did in a long time besides pulling out of the World Council of Churches. However, Patriarch Elia was a professional ecumenist, was a KGB agent, and overall persecuted the true Orthodox. So holding Elder Gabriel as a standard ignores everything that was happening around Elder Gabriel, including holy bishops, many of whom were true Orthodox, thrown in jail at his hand, not Gabriel's hand, at Elia's hand.
Sorry, I'm not hearing your talk.
Come again?
Maybe it's just me.
Oh, you didn't hear anything I said?
John, do you have audio?
Yeah, I have audio. I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic and rhetorical or if that was real.
No, I can't hear the other person.
You can't hear him?
I can hear you. I can't hear anybody else.
Interesting. Okay.
What's up, Father Joseph?
Hey, Moeller.
Yeah, we got Moeller.
What's up?
Fist, can you hear Moeller?
Yeah, can you hear me, bro?
No, you're the only one I can hear.
Really?
Okay, so apparently
All right.
you can't hear anybody.
Hey, yeah, why don't you drop
Tune
out
in
Fist?
and come back. That's what
I
he
was
needs to
going.
do.
What's that?
Drop
Boniface?
off and come back.
Yeah,
right.
probably.
Reboot.
I was gonna bring someone else up as well, Fist. So if you want to make one
That's
more,
fine. That's fine, John. I've had my piece.
I appreciate you coming up, man.
Thank you, sir.
Peace.
Yeah, how dare you? Father Joseph, I'm going to tell you something. How dare you?
What I do now?
Trying to tell the truth. How dare you? Coming out on these
Hello?
platforms,
I got
you're
to
just
reboot.
talking and talking truth. I'm telling you.
I do my best, but it's subversive, but it's my new plan. It seems to be working excellently.
No, I'm joking with you, but this is the attitude that they have, man.
I know. I know.
So, yeah, and I think John having you on has been good because now people are asking questions, and in
I
the
agree.
end, I don't know what would come. Sorry, let me adjust. I don't know why you would be doing this, to be honest with you, unless you really felt the conviction of the historical take of your church and sort of where you think world orthodoxy is wrong.
Yeah.
So, but I know that you're going to get clobbered and people are going to talk about you, but to debate you on the topic and to just come in here with emotionalism to say, why are you doing this, bro? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, well, and the problem is that they don't. I think that a part of them they hear some of it and there's cognitive dissonance. Like when I talk about the martyrdom of St. Catherine Roudis, she was a young mother in 1925, I believe it was, that she was in the church, in a true Orthodox church praying. The priest was there. The cops came to arrest the priest, and she tried to shield him with her body, and the cop basically bashed her in the head and killed her. And so she was a mother of like 2 or 3, and she was young. And the point is, when people hear stuff like this, their brain shuts off because they don't want to accept the fact that their bishops were ordained by people who consented to murdering people. And this is really true, really difficult, especially with the Russian church, with the Moscow Patriarchate especially, because you had cases where these people were reporting on their parishioners to the Soviets. They were part of the reason that innocent people went to jail. So when you hear this sort of stuff, and it's 2026, you're like, oh my gosh, that can't be real. And eventually you get to the point where you start thinking that everyone's around you's a liar. And a lot of these people go through cognitive dissonance. So I understand it. But usually when I see the aggressive anonymous person, I usually will try to match vibes because, frankly, I don't think that they're being honest in their presentation.
Hey, you're never going to get an objection from me on matching vibes. Not at all. So, no, I like the energy and I appreciate what John's doing. I think, of course, you guys agree on one topic, but everybody knows you disagree on the other. They know the differences here. So nobody's playing games, but in the end, people are going to have to decide. And if they can't hear the information or they think it's untrue, then debunk it. Then just say it's false. But I don't really think that there's legitimate claims. And if you're saying there is no evidence, then just pull up and wreck them. Wreck Father Joseph whenever.
I'm here to be wrecked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like you're not outside, but this is how this whole thing's going to be kind of spun and orchestrated. and I just came up to because I saw you here, and I'm doing better, and I appreciate your prayers too, John. So we're doing better.
Amen.
So
Amen.
the Lord bless you for that.
Good to hear from.
Oh,
yeah,
look
it's
at
good to see you
this.
again. Hey, it's JP.
There's
Yeah.
JP, bro. I feel like
JP.
I feel like I was gonna talk smack about JP, and he just pulled up. What up?
Nah, I just came here, man, to say what's up, man.
Yeah, show some support. I was gonna do
Nice,
that
nice
too.
to meet you, JP. I don't think we've ever spoken before, but it's nice to say.
We talk on Twitter all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's fair.
But
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say one of the points that I want to point out, Father Joseph, this is what I've been thinking about last time we chatted, I think. So what do you see as the ultimate goal of this? Is there any way that you see that you would be united back to this church, considering who's running the show? Meaning, or is it true orthodoxy saying no, it's a true schism, it's forever, there's no unity in that sense where we go back?
Well, this is the way I look at it. First off, I was never. There was a point where I went to World Orthodoxy, but it was after I had already been received and baptized as a true Orthodox Christian. So I never actually had to be part of World Orthodoxy at any point. But more importantly, the history of the church is kind of repetitive. I hate to say that, but history tends to, it may not always repeat, but it generally rhymes. And so what we see happening here is we see like the World Orthodox, many of them more and more are becoming less concerned about the centrality of truth, less concerned about the centrality of the church, the one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. It's being spread out more, like the Roman Catholics are saying now, and more of the liberal Protestant groups are kind of forming their own little mass of modernist ecumenism. I don't know what's going to happen to that,
Right.
but my guess is that more of it is going to fall apart. I mean, look, even the Anglican Communion this year, just look at what happened with Sarah Mullally. So the point is, what I think we're going to see is a massive organizational restructuring worldwide among Christians, not just in Orthodoxy, although that's going to be a big thing. And we're seeing a lot of people are talking about Orthodoxy. We're going to see restructuring going on in World Orthodoxy, in True Orthodoxy. I think it's going to be, you're going to see more people leaving and splitting from what is officially World Orthodoxy, and some of them will talk to us. Some of them will talk to us years from now. A good example of this is the Diocese of Vršac and Prizren in Serbia. Now, this diocese was generally pretty anti-ecumenical, and they knew the history of many holy people in Serbia. But they didn't want to join the True Orthodox of Serbia, where they were small. They were convinced, for example, that they were going to retake Serbia. And so they made their own bishops, etc. And they have a large community. But the main Serbian church, which is ecumenist, wants nothing to do with them. They want to completely destroy them, have them all thrown in jail, get rid of them. Those people are eventually going to have to talk to us. That's just how it goes. And so that's
so
the
you
way
you see some restructuring, possibly unification of people, maybe examining your proposition, or meaning the evidence that you presented as the true church or the true position, and you'll start to engage in more convos where they're going to actually look at the case that you're making, you think?
Absolutely. I can tell you this, and I always say this to people. I've been saying this for ages. It may look chaotic now, but you should have seen it 20 years ago.
I was going to ask, how has it improved? But
in 20 years, 70% of the True Orthodox world is in communion with other True Orthodox around the world. So even myself, 20 years ago, I could commune at my churches in this country and at the churches that the Milan Synod had in a few places. Now there's plenty of churches I can go to and commune and serve in America, in Greece, in Latin America, in Europe, in Russia. And this is not just me. There's a lot of clergy. Most True Orthodox clergy can make the exact same claim. They just have to ask their bishop for permission when they're traveling, and they can go celebrate in another country. 20 years ago, that would have been impossible to envision.
So then you would pull up and they would essentially say, no, get out of here. You can't.
Yeah, because nobody was in communion with each other. They were all like, I can't, we can't
Can I ask
trust
the
you.
father a question?
Yeah, sure.
So what can you tell me about Father Seraphim? Was he like a prophetic figure in your circle? Like, what was he? Was he like the Malcolm X of Orthodoxy? Like, what was he?
He was definitely not the Malcolm X of Orthodoxy, but he was definitely, he had a movement, but it's not like what how worldly movements form. Because
was it like, sorry to cut you off, but just because I want to home, was this like a prophetic? Like, was he like a prophet to you guys? Because I know he's a very powerful guy. Because I've read of him, I heard of him.
Yeah.
So is he like a prophet to you guys? Like, was he like one of those like chosen, called people? Like, how do you see him?
Well, I think that that's going to be how a lot of Americans would describe him. Father Seraphim was originally, he was part of the Beatnik movement and then eventually went into Eastern religions. But when he got called into Orthodoxy, he truly got spiritually called. And he abandoned everything to follow Jesus Christ. So that he literally became a monk. So that he took the words of the gospel straight to heart and moved into the middle of nowhere. And like nobody, when you move to the middle of nowhere, you have no expectation that the world is going to follow you. But that is how it works whenever people become monastics and truly pursue holiness. Right. So some of his writings, like Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future, which largely describes today, are indeed prophetic. But his he's probably well known for not only his asceticism, but making the difficulty, because when you read the lives of the saints,
now, Father Joseph, one question to add to that, and obviously because that's very good. Now, on top of that, why isn't he canonized?
Among the true Orthodox, there are actually the largest true Orthodox synod did canonize him. So that's part of the reason.
They canonized him about a month ago, right?
They glorified him. No, it was more than that. We did it about a year and a half ago. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. This is what happened. He was glorified by the Rocourt A. And when we say glorified, because canonized is really a Roman Catholic term to insert into the canon. But the process is basically after they've determined that he's, holy, etc., they do the final prayers for him and then eventually services to him. But the whole point is that was done in November of 2024 by the Rocourt under Metropolitan Agafongal, which is separated from the Rocourt Moscow Patriarchate. But because Father Seraphim is so beloved among many people, once he was recognized, more and more true Orthodox were like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Or they start, bishops of other true Orthodox synods have all been saying, yeah, we should really consider inserting him into the calendar. In many cases, true Orthodox churches may just recognize another church's glorification work and just say, okay, we'll just insert them into the calendar, because that has happened before as well. But what happened is so much noise was being created by the knowledge that Seraphim was a saint that the Rocourt MP became nervous, because they own that property. Well, now the Serbians, I think, own that property, but they control his body. And so from their perspective, it's not a good look to have a saint that's not recognized with a whole bunch of people going to do pilgrimages at his body. Now, on our map, we purposely put him there because we know people are looking for him. So the whole point is they have to do something. And it came to a head last month. Last month, they were about to say that they were going to glorify him. That got reported or leaked. And then they immediately said, oh, no, we didn't say that we were going to glorify him. He's on the path, because they want to keep the momentum going where people are going there, but they don't want them to realize that there has been a split, and they don't want them to realize that St. Seraphim was pro-true Orthodox, and that his early writings even say that, and they changed them after he died. So that's part of the...
So there's literally documented evidence of them changing his, trying to change his quotes and his stance?
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, that's you can look at the different editions.
Really?
Yep.
That would be an interesting topic right there.
Oh yeah, I would ask Brian on X. There's a lot of people who know
any literature I could read of this guy that you would recommend?
Probably his life. I'd say Father Seraphim Rose's life and works. The original one was pretty good. Not of This World is also pretty good, but you have to realize that these are written by biographers with their own political stances.
Okay.
So that's, but the basic facts are correct.
Yeah. I don't mean to jump in here, but my suggestion would be to read Father Seraphim himself. Read his books.
That's the best suggestion.
So, anyways, fellas, I'm gonna hop off.
So it's good seeing you again, Mahler.
Good seeing you, brother. I'll DM you on X, and then John will stay in touch. I'll hit you guys up. Appreciate it. God bless you guys.
Thanks for coming on, Muller. Peace. Stacky, did you have something you wanted to ask Father Joseph?
Yeah, I had a pretty straightforward question.
Sure.
If are we? Yeah. So, JC, I wanted to say thank you too. I do appreciate, through all this over the last several weeks, it does seem like you're trying to, seemingly anyway, give everybody a fair shake. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to present the arguments in their best form, and people can see which ones stack up and which ones don't.
Well, real quick, Father.
Anyway, so I had a pretty straightforward
Well, let me get
question
out of
for
here,
Joseph
Father.
here.
Thank
You
you
and I
for.
had a
No
brief-
problem. God bless you, JP.
Thank you for answering my question, Father. Take care.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming,
this
JP.
is Stacky. Oh,
Hi, Stacky.
So you and I had a very brief conversation on X yesterday, and I know that you thought that I was. You'd mentioned that you thought that I was coming bad faith.
Was that the?
Somehow,
Are you
but
the map guy?
I'm the map guy, and I want to be.
Okay.
I want to be honest. I'm genuinely curious here, because I do feel in some sense that we're making a mountain out of a molehill out of the true orthodoxy thing here.
Mountain out of a molehill. You say, "Hey, Reader John."
Yeah.
Welcome.
Father
bless.
You did say
God
that you
bless
would be able to. You made the claim that there are. Can you say again? 10 to 15% of the number of Eastern Orthodox Christians in the world are true Orthodox.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. And I would also say that, unfortunately, those numbers are fluid all around. They're not very accurate. Whether you're talking about World Orthodox or True Orthodoxy. So
sure, I did want to press you on that a little bit though, because that seems to me to be a pretty big claim as somebody who's I've been in the church for several years now. I've been in I was discerning for some years before that, and my only exposure to True Orthodoxy has been on X.
Okay. Where are you? Can you give me an idea of your region?
I'm in the States. I'd rather not, get too.
Well, the only reason I ask is because in all major population centers where there are World Orthodox, there's usually a lot of True Orthodox. So if you're living in a major population center, they're around you. You just may not have noticed them.
Well, I don't know, man. I find that hard to believe. I'm just being honest with you.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Well, you did say that you could substantiate the 10 to 15% claim on Thursday. Are you able to substantiate that?
Yeah. Okay. So if we're gonna go by the substantiation, that's fair. I remember you asking, and that is a fair question. In the case of the Church of Greece, there was a 1950. There was a 1950 census that was done where I believe they said that there were 1 million True Orthodox, those who were affiliated with the old calendarists. At that time, Greece was 8 million. And so that actually comes out to roughly 12% of the population since then. And this is, again, anecdotal, but True Orthodox tend to have larger families than World Orthodox do. So that is why the 10 to 15% is absolutely accurate in Greece. There are other anecdotal stories that I can give you where, for example, even like Metropolitan Hilarion Alfiev mentioned in an interview that when he went to Athens to meet the Archbishop of Athens, his Uber driver tried to take him to the True Orthodox bishop. The point I'm trying to make is that there are actually a good number of True Orthodox, and when I went to Greece, I saw that with my own eyes. So the problem is this, Stacky, is that I have lots of evidences that there are lots and lots and lots and lots of True Orthodox based on experience, and you can wave them off, but really the only thing I can respond with is that you'd have to go see for yourself. Now, granted, you could go see for yourself and then say otherwise. I don't know, but that's on you and your conscience, man. Like,
just to be clear, I did, after we had that conversation, I did look online. I cannot for the life of me find any True Orthodox mission or parish or church or anything in my entire state.
That's possible. There are a number of states that don't have True Orthodox mission.
Sure, and the part of the conversation that you and I had was, I looked at that map that you sent me, and I randomly looked at 3 of them, and 2 of the churches that were on there just do not exist.
You see, I've heard this already. One of you originally said 3 of the churches did not exist. I went and found the physical evidence and street address of those churches and said it would be wasting my time to do the other 2. Now, if you haven't bothered to do the research for the other 2, that does not mean 2 don't exist. It simply means that I haven't done the research for them for you.
Well, no, but I'm telling you that I did do the research. I did.
Well,
one of them on
the first one, because 1 out of 3 you missed.
Maybe I'll grant you that, right? But I I did do a lot more in-depth research after you had pointed out the other one, but I'm looking on Google Maps, on Street View, I'm searching. I mean, there's nothing. And you're telling people to go.
Do you want me to do it again?
Sure. Let's look up the one St. Clair Orthodox Church in Morning Glory, Texas, I believe.
Give me a second. Hold on.
While you do that, Father, I want to let Neurojack. He had connection issues. I want to let him back on real quick because he wanted to read a scripture verse, I believe, for us, and so
no problem.
I'm gonna let him do that while you're searching this up.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Neurojack.
Yeah, thank you for having me up. Again, I have a very
welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a very brief couple excerpts I want to read, and then a brief statement, if you don't mind. So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So the two quotes I want to read. First one's from Paul, and it reads, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth." Oh, sorry. This is actually Jesus. I'll read this one first. It says, Jesus said, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be of his own household." And also want to read this quote from Paul from the Corinthians. "But I, brothers, could not address you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh, as infants in Christ. I fed you milk, not solid food, for you are not ready for it. And even now you are not ready, for you are still of the flesh. For while there is jealousy and strife among you, are you not the flesh and behaving only in a human way?" So I read that because what I'm going to say is, kind of just broadly for Christians in general, because I'm not a part of any church per se, but, certainly the history of the church and human history has been one of the,
I lost my audio.
for lack of a better term, pagan or
hold on. I hear you, Father.
Yeah, I heard him as well. But but basically, I would say that the history of the church, as well as the of human history, has been one of the occult and demonic, presence trying to subvert humans and God's word and the religion of Christ. So, you could see this in Trotsky or Gramsci, or you could see it in the Gnostics or Judaism, which is a major heresy, or Chabad Lubavitch, or all these other things. And would it be any surprise that the effort of, the devil would be to get as close to the truth as possible to lead Jesus's flock astray? And, I think that we have to be very vigilant, obviously. And I think the devil is going to revel in our squabbles amongst each other over the wrong things. And I just find that's, the behavior of certain, parties, I'll say, and they know who they are, but they are fueling the fire, right? And I think that they're wanting
my audio messed up, or is it just nobody talking?
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to say that people have to look into their history, and they have to understand that the occult has infiltrated much of what we call "quote unquote" Christianity today, and they're using the state as well as technology, as well as fake churches and a lot of intelligence agencies to lead us all astray. And I think that it would behoove us to be very aware of that and stop pretending to not be interested in that side of it. And I think, like, for me, that's why I appreciate what Father Sweden and Boniface and many others are doing, is because they're kind of alluding to the fact that the occult has been trying to lead Christians astray for thousands of years, and it should be no surprise that they're continuing to do this to this day. So,
yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on, Jack. Stacky, are you back with audio? Stacky, can you hear me? Are you back with audio? All right. While he's working on audio, Father Joseph, maybe just hold that link that you found until he comes back. I did want to bring up Julian. Julian is an EO, and he's got some questions that he'd like to ask. Julian, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
All right. Guys, I need to use the restroom. So, Julian, Father Joseph, I'm going to let you guys go at it for a minute. I will be back very shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm actually just an inquirer, not EO. I haven't been received in the church. I I wrote down a few questions here, and just if they might be a little antagonistic, but I'm just trying to kind of discern whatever, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
So, at what point does your method of fighting ecumenism and modernity stabilize into the creed's one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church?
I don't believe that we see stability in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church as aspirational. As far as I'm concerned, I've been part of the church all my life as an Orthodox. I'm currently part of the church. I am under a true bishop, which is under a true synod. There are true synods throughout the world. There are true Orthodox throughout the world. And so I do not see a to be coming that is necessary, if that makes sense. So we have everything.
You're basically already there. You're not moving toward it.
May I jump in, Father?
Sure.
I would say that World Orthodoxy has the burden of proof to say why they engaged in ecumenism and modernism, because the church was the church up until the 20th century. We didn't really have new calendars and old calendars, did we? Right? We didn't have World Orthodox and True Orthodox. It was just Orthodox. So there was a group of people that engaged in ecumenism and modernism, later on Sergianism, and kept drifting further away from the church. So I would say the burden lies on them to say, why did you engage? Why didn't you keep the Orthodox confession of faith?
Okay. That kind of goes into my second question. So whenever you guys effectively separated from World Orthodoxy,
we believe they separated from us, but that's
right.
beside the point.
Yeah. You ended up having to set up basically, you had mentioned it earlier, a parallel.
Can you set up a parallel jurisdiction if World Orthodoxy left Orthodoxy? That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so but you
that's a false presumption.
Okay. Now, but you left the whole church. Like you didn't single out any specific jurisdictions that were going wrong. Like you left everybody.
Well, we can't leave
his
the
history's a
whole
little
church.
the history's a little messy. So there was the whole church.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was Orthodox, right? So then innovation crept in, right? Ecumenism was never part of the church.
Yeah, I think I should clarify because he is an inquirer.
Yeah, I know.
Orthodoxy operates locally, which means that you're never dealing with the whole church except at the top hierarchical level. You're dealing with your local parish and your local bishop. And so that's why you wouldn't deal with the kind when people say you went into schism from the whole church. I refuse to say you schismed as a verb because that's stupid and invented by people like J. Dyer. The point is that you can go into schism from your local church, your local bishop, but if you go under a true bishop